Welcome to Fireside Giants. My name is Alex, co-host here, Anthony Rivardo. If you're new to the channel, make sure to drop a subscription below on YouTube. Make sure to drop a like before the video starts. We're going to get into some more interesting social media news regarding Giants players, employees, which is even more concerning. Giants employees have been going at it. Former employees, scouts, unleashing hell in social world in the Giants verse. And now we have what could be a potential burner account for Chris Pettit, the vice president of college personnel, like evaluation and college scouting. This is a problem. If this is actually him, and I want to point this out before, we cannot confirm 100% this is him, right? This is what most people are assuming is him because they're making very, very logical connections that they're seeing he was on other forums and using a similar name and a similar username, and now he's on Twitter and he's coming to the defense of certain things, and he clearly has some information that people didn't know because he's saying things that nobody else would say, and it's very, very strange, and we're going to tell you what those things are. But before we dive into that, shout out to Betty White. She passed away today on New Year's Eve. She does not want to see what comes ahead in 2022. And for that matter, neither do I, because I don't think the Giants are going to be very good. It's going to be a tough year ahead. But shout out to Betty White, passed away. Rest in peace. National treasure. Snickers bar. That's all I have to say. Anthony, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing okay. Rest in peace to Betty White. And of course, I hope everybody has a very fun, happy, and safe New Year's Eve. Have a great time with family, friends, or whatever if you're able to go out. I know the pandemic's pretty bad right now, but hopefully everybody has a very happy New Year. Now, I do want to discuss, though, this New York Giants social media stuff. And of course, take it all with a grain of salt. These are burner accounts. You can't confirm whether or not this is actually Chris Pettit, but as Alex mentioned, some people have done a little bit of investigative research on the internet, found out that Chris Pettit apparently drives and loves his Mustang, and the name of this Twitter account is Mustang Lover. So that's a pretty easy connection to make. This might just be Chris Pettit, especially because I have never once in my entire history of being on Giants Twitter ever seen someone compliment Chris Pettit or give him such a glowing review recommendation. And this guy just loves Chris Pettit, and it's really weird and it's really random. And not only does he love Chris Pettit, but he loves a bunch of other people in the front office that most Giants fans hate. So it's really random. Of course, this could all just be a troll, but if it is true, this is a horrible look on the organization. And I will say this: Benjamin Albright is an NFL insider who gets plenty of draft scoops as well. He's a insider over for the Denver Broncos, a reporter. He said that he can't confirm it, but he's hearing from sources within that a lot of people believe that this actually is Chris Pettit. Like, this is not just fan drama. There are actual insiders who believe this. So that's kind of bizarre. There are real people who actually matter that think that this is Chris Pettit. And it's really crazy if you read off some of his tweets, which I'll get into right now. I'll say some of them. They're pretty interesting. Here's the most interesting to me, though, by Scouting Gems at Mustang Lover _ on Twitter. Fans are upset, and rightfully so, but unfortunately, a lot of that anger and heat is mixed at the wrong people. The media is driving so much, and these, quote, accounts on Twitter are looking to stir things up. Do not trust everything you read. John sees all of this, and it will be fixed. So this guy is saying that John Mara is active on Twitter. He reads Alex's viral tweets about the New York Giants. He might even read my viral tweets about the New York Giants, your viral tweets about the New York Giants. Apparently, John Mara, the owner of the New York Giants, is reading Twitter, looking at fan feedback, and looking at what everybody is saying, and then apparently not agreeing with everything that we're saying. So that right there, off the bat, is just so crazy to me that maybe John Mara has a burner account and sifts through tweets. Can't really believe that, but you know what? Stranger things have happened. We did see the director of PR for the New York Giants publicly get into a Twitter argument earlier this week. So it really wouldn't be that much of a great leap to get into burner accounts for these Giants personnel people. It's really crazy. But Alex, I'd love to hear what you think about this ridiculous drama unfolding in front of our eyes on Giants Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is the Trojan horse of Giants world, right? These social media interactions, people going under the radar, coming in undetected. This is, and one, I saw one person say the cages have been rattled, right? In the Giants employee, like in the organization, the cages have been rattled. That Steve, ex-scout, the Giants just fired, was someone who was protected by John Mara all these years. He was protected. He was one of those guys that people were like, the one of the scouts was like, people made fun of him. People don't understand why he was with the organization for 20 years. John Mara protected him because he was friends with him. Here's the thing. Those guys are getting fired. You know what I mean? Those guys are getting let go. And I wonder if Joe Judge has something to do with that. If John Mara is seeing the feedback and firing guys. Look, and I'm not sure. I'm not telling you I know anything. Because right now we know Pat Hanlon was on there yelling at an ex-scout that was just fired by the Giants, right? We know that for a fact because Pat Hanlon's account is public. He was out there talking crap, talking smack against this guy, and rightfully so for that matter, because the guy came out with a vengeance, with an axe, and he started chopping down general manager Dave Gettleman, started taking shots at the front office guys and the executives. So I get why Pat Hanlon came to the defense of his team. Now, I respect that, but there are better ways to go after former employees. Maybe like a cease and desist letter might suffice. Stop outing shit behind the scenes for the Giants. That would always be a good way to just give him a nice little lawyer pat on the shoulder, and watch him stop. You don't have to have Pat Hanlon going on your PR guy trying to shut him down as if that's going to do anything, because the guy Steve is still going. So I'll say this though. Now Chris Pettit comes on. And if that's actually him, and like you said, people think that there are insiders, that believe that the Giants now have a couple burner accounts and there's stuff going on. That's a problem. That's a huge problem, because now people in the Giants organization have suddenly boiled down to a point where the team is so bad, they're getting enough public backlash that they feel as though they're being threatened, right? These employees feel threatened. Their jobs may feel threatened. Their livelihoods feel threatened, so they're reacting defensively. They're on the defense now. But for some people, defense is I'm going to stay quiet and do what I got to do. For others, defense is I'm going to be aggressive and attack and go back at him. But the thing is, you watch any NFL game, it's not the guy who attacks first that gets caught. It's the guy that reacts. And you saw Steve, right? This whole thing, everyone's going crazy. Pat was the one that reacted, right? Pat Hanlon's the one that reacted, and everybody saw it, and that affirmed that showed that it was true what that guy had to say. Anybody could have said that what Steve, the scout, said was absolute bullshit. It was a lies. Nobody knows if it's true. Pat Hanlon reacting to it tells us it was true. It says that what he said is at least partially true. He confirms this by reacting. That's a problem. John Mara has no hold over his employees anymore, because they're going out on social media and airing dirty laundry and confirming and reacting to aggressive ex-scouts. That is a huge organizational problem. You cannot have employees doing that on public forums, where right now there's a lot of fans out there that are leading a march to really out the nepotism and out management and the executives about what they're doing to bring this franchise down to the decisions they're making personnel-wise. And you look at some of the stuff that Chris Pettit said, Anthony, I know there's a couple more you want to read, so I'm going to let you read those, because some of them are pretty ugly. He even quote-tweeted something I had to say about Daniel Jones and his impact on this team and why they want to continue going with him. So, Anthony, I'll let you get back to it, because I know there's some more that you want to list off.
Yeah, I'll keep reading some of these tweets. Like I said, they're really interesting. If it is Chris Pettit, it's really bizarre. If it's not, then we're all just getting trolled by some Twitter scout. But it's New Year's Eve. Let's have a fun time. So here's what he said. Calling someone a friend but going online to trash them with anonymous and baseless statements seems a bit misleading, don't you say? And he was saying this in response to the angry Twitter scout, the anonymous guy. You can rile up the masses as much as you like, but I would be careful with false allegations about someone's livelihood. So if this is Chris Pettit, he did just threaten somebody, so that's pretty interesting to see on the internet. But it's also not the first time we've seen a Giants employee threaten somebody, because like we just mentioned, Pat Hanlon threatened Steve Verderosa on Twitter just earlier this week, and that was public. That was known to be the Giants PR, so really crazy stuff there. You're awfully quick to drive attention back to yourself, yet pretend to be a voice of reason for fans. Pathetic. What's sad is the baseless statements and need to pretend there's a knowledge of things you have no idea of. Same as the stories being pushed for engagement. He was also saying this to the anonymous scout after the anonymous scout said that this is Chris Pettit making these tweets. That was his response. So he really did not deny it there. He kind of almost seemed to admit it in a way. And then, of course, he also tweeted to Carl Banks. Carl Banks has spoken at length about understanding the process of what goes into building a culture and a foundation in New York. Like we spoke about recently, there isn't one simple solution. Unfortunately, the internet is driving a lot of unnecessary heat towards the wrong people. He did say we, so whoever this person is, they are claiming to be in the front office of the New York Giants. He is saying we, and we're doing things to try and fix the culture. and he's not even hiding it. He is saying that he is in here, and he is supporting Chris Pettit. I've never seen someone support Chris Pettit. He said there was internal disruptions affecting the growth of multiple players. These variables were removed, and the product on the field will follow. Have patience. A lot of good men in the building that will get things moving. It takes time. And then he said that Paul Dottino from The Fan is a great vouch for this, which is also interesting because the fan base really does not like Paul Dottino. So I don't know. I don't think that this is a fan personally. I do think this is somebody in the Giants organization just because of the who they're supporting and the way that they're going about doing it. And the fights that they're picking are really random. And they're supporting people that I've never seen supported on Giants Twitter before. This guy also went on to say Joe Judge is a deeply intelligent football guy cut from a different cloth. He said that Joe Judge is not going to be fired by a new general manager coming in. He also did say some things about Kevin Abrams that I'm looking for right now, where he said that he really likes Kevin Abrams and that he thinks that he will be a good general manager. This guy also said Daniel is everything an organization can ask for in a franchise quarterback. He'll continue to get the opportunity to lead as well as he should, regardless of what the media tries to tell people. He hasn't been given enough time. So if this really is Chris Pettit, he's basically confirming the reports that we saw earlier this week. Daniel Jones is back in 2022, and he will be given at least one more shot to prove himself as a franchise quarterback of the New York Giants.
Yeah, I mean, it's all pretty damning, right? Like, and we don't know if this is him for sure. So take it with a grain of salt, like I said earlier in the video. But what he's saying is very oddly specific. It's very oddly targeted, and it's worded very interestingly because he's pointing at specific people within the organization that you can trust or has a good idea of what's going on. And it seems very deflective. It seems very defensive. It seems like all of these people, we know Pat Hanlon's already defended. We know that's a public profile, so we know it's him. This Steve, ex-scout, we know that he was an ex-scout for the Giants that was recently fired. And he's calling out the team. And he says, I love the place. I don't even have a vendetta against them, but this is stuff that needs to be said, right? He's like, I don't even like hate them. Like this is a place that awarded my family really great opportunity to have a great life. But ultimately, this is stuff that needs to be said because there is a lot of negative stuff going on within the organization that needs to be aired. And I think it's fair to the fans. It is very clear that there is a lot of more issues than we thought with this organization, right? Coming from a number of scouts, a number of personnel, executives, nepotism, whatever it is, you name it. There's a lot of issues we did not know existed before these people started arguing on a public forum. Like, I'm sure they have their phone numbers. Just give them a call or text them, or like I said, drop them a little lawsuit, like anything to get them to stop talking. But seriously, this stuff being aired on social media where we're like piranhas, guys. Like, we are piranhas. The second anyone says there's blood in the water, we are on that shit like white on rice. We are ready to pounce. We are ready to snatch that shit up and make it into something so much bigger than it should have been. But it really, what it did for us is it exposed flaws and negatives and stuff that we really probably didn't want to know, because now we know that the issues that are running deep within the veins of the Giants are fundamental. You know, they're foundational issues, but it seems like they're all getting aired. And why now, Anthony? Why is now the pinnacle of everything being aired at the same time? And I think it's mainly because I don't think that ownership has gotten this much shit from the media and fan base at the same time in a long time. You know, I don't remember a time, John Mara, the nepotism, that everything has been aired at this level, the scouts that are coming out and saying all this stuff about the Giants. I don't think I've ever seen the Giants put on blast at a level like this in ever since I've been a fan, right? Maybe you guys do when you remember George Young and everything kind of got turned over, but social media really wasn't a thing back then, so it was hard. The NFL had to step in. Now, all this stuff is out in the open, and why is it coming to a pinnacle now? Because big decisions are about to commence. I think that that's really what's about to happen. Big shit is about to go down in the coming weeks. When this season ends, new GMs, the conversations that nobody really wants to have are about to happen. And maybe Joe Judge is at the forefront of helping change this. Maybe it was all fine and dandy. They were like, whatever, we're just going to run with what we got. This is really comfortable. Even if we suck, we'll be a middling team eventually and we can kind of make our billions of dollars. Maybe Joe Judge is like, I can't work with this. Like, this guy sucks at his job. This scout is garbage. He's lazy. The nepotism running within this team. There's too much power dynamic between the guys who have no stake. They have stake in this club monetarily. It's not their jobs. It's not their families. Joe Judge is like, I want to make this organization great because I want to support my family for the long haul. I want to create generational wealth. But these guys are putting me in a bad spot. Maybe Joe Judge is behind the scenes trying to out these guys and trying to get them fired. That's why this scout's getting fired. The cage is being rattled. John Mara's giving him some power to make decisions. I have no idea. But I'm saying that we haven't seen this much shit get exploded out, firings behind the scenes, things being shaken up, fundamental shit being shaken up since Joe Judge became head coach there. So maybe it has something to do with it. I have no clue. And honestly, I really hope he has. I really hope that he's the one that's made a difference here. But then you have guys like Pat Hanlon or like these guys saying that Joe Judge is cut from a different cloth. He's doing this, he's doing that. Maybe they're just sucking up to him because he knows that they're making changes. Maybe they're like sucking up to Joe Judge because he knows that he can get them fired now because this guy's not doing a good job. I have no idea. I'm just throwing out conspiracy theories because I'm trying to figure out why this is happening to begin with, Anthony. It's hard to figure out, what the reason, the catalyst behind all of this is out of nowhere. Maybe it's just coming to a head because everyone's attacking them so much right now, Anthony. But, when you're thinking about it, I'll give you a last minute to let's kind of give your response to that.
Yeah, I'll say I have the self-awareness to admit that we do, to some extent, sound like some conspiracy theorists. We do sound a little bit crazy. But what I will say is, when you're saying, why is all this happening now? It's because of how bad the Giants are. At the end of the day, we've been bad for too long. So if this is someone within the Giants front office, it's not even surprising because of how bad the Giants are and how bad they've been. And we're now in another transition period. We were in a transitionary period, just 2 years ago when we made a new head coach hiring. And 2 years before that, we hired a new head coach and a new general manager. Those were two transition periods in a very short amount of time. And now we're in another transition period where we're looking for another new general manager. So even if this is a insider, right? Someone within the organization, it's crazy, but it's not that surprising considering we have people on the way out and we have a lot of turmoil within the organization and within the fan base. Now, if all of this is fake and this is just some random fan creating this fake burner account and going crazy, that also speaks volumes. That's just the state of the fan base. The fan base is sick and tired, and we've gotten to the point where we now make fun of the team in the most extravagant ways possible because we want them to hear us. We know that they have social media presence. We know that Pat Hanlon and other guys are on Twitter. They see what we're saying. So for the Giants fans to go out there and maybe create a fake burner account about somebody, the Giants, we now know, see that. And they see it and they react to it internally because Pat Hanlon made that public, that he does react to things on Twitter internally. So the Giants fans have definitely hit a breaking point. If you want that to be your main takeaway from this topic of discussion, that can be it. The Giants fans have hit a breaking point. The Giants organization has hit a breaking point. And of course, we're going to have a new transition to a new general manager. And there's a lot of turmoil right now. This does not surprise me that this stuff is going on because that's just the state of a bad NFL franchise after a decade of being bad. That's just what it is. We've been bad for almost a decade now. So hopefully, though, after this transition period ends, we have less Twitter drama, we have more wins coming into the win column, and we hopefully have a much better football team for the long run. That's all we can hope for. So hopefully, Happy New Year's. That's our present. That's our New Year's resolution, is that the Giants get better. That's what I'm hoping and praying for on this New Year's Eve.
Yeah, my resolution is simple. Never watch Giants employees fight on social media again. This is a sign of Armageddon in Giants land. This is not good. It really isn't, guys. My resolution is get some competent people in here. Stop dooming us to this bullshit. I'm done. I'm tired of it. I'm tired. I get to watch the Giants blow chunks every Sunday. I don't want to watch their freaking social media guys and their employees air shit out on Twitter. This is not what I want to be doing. This is not what I want to be talking about. I want to be talking about how the Giants can kick the shit out of the Bears on Sunday because we're going to be making the playoffs and making a playoff run. That is what I want to be talking about. This is freaking nonsense and it's starting to piss me off. So guys, please, let's just get over this. Let's go to the draft. We're going to be doing a ton of evaluation, ton of player evals. I'm really excited to dive into that stuff because I don't want to deal with this shit anymore. I can't stand it. It's pissing me off to no end. But guys, have a fantastic New Year's. Drink your sorrows away. Bleach, tequila, whatever makes you happy. Enjoy it. Have a great day. And we'll catch you guys in 2022. Make sure to like, subscribe the video below. And we'll catch you guys in the next Fireside Giants episode.